Hi, I'm John.
I'm Rose.
And I'm Emma.
And we're STEM Outreach from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and we're going to learn about pressure.
To talk about air pressure, we first need to talk about molecules. Molecules are the smallest unit of a substance that still has all the properties of that substance. For example, a molecule of water still behaves just like water. Now, molecules can be broken down into atoms, which is the smallest unit of anything. But we're not really worried about those for this experiment. We're just going to focus on molecules.
But does air, like the air around us, weigh anything? Okay, if you think that air doesn't have a weight, please raise your hand. Now, if you think air does weigh anything, please raise your hand. If you raised your hand for air having a weight, then you were correct. Air pressure is the weight of air molecules pushing down on the Earth. Air pressure isn't the same everywhere on Earth, but it does exist everywhere on Earth. It changes as you rise up from sea level, which is the average height of the ocean, into the atmosphere, which is the layer of gas that surrounds the Earth.
Scientists use a tool called a barometer to measure air pressure. Air pressure has a huge impact on weather, and it helps us predict weather better. Let's look at some examples of air pressure in action. Now we're going to do the water glass trick. Fill a cup with some water. Take an index card and put it over the mouth of the straw, keeping it flat on the mouth. Slowly flip it over. And voila. The reason this works is because the index card acts as a seal for the pressure inside and the pressure outside. There's more force, 15 pounds of force, on the outside compared to the 1 force from inside the cup, therefore creating a seal.
Next up is balloon kissing. To do this experiment, first you need to fill up 2 balloons with air and tie strings to the end of them. And then you've got to carefully position them in front of your nose, about 6 feet apart from one another. As soon as you get them in position, then you blow between them really hard, like this. So how do the 2 balloons touch each other? Here's why. Blowing between the 2 balloons causes the speed of air between the 2 of them to go much faster than the speed of the air surrounding them. That faster speed lowers the air pressure between the 2 balloons, causing the outside air pressure to be stronger and push the 2 balloons towards one another, like this.
All right, now it's time for the fountain bottle experiment. If you want to try this at home, the first thing you're going to do is get yourself a water bottle or a 2-liter bottle. You're going to fill it about halfway or a little more with water. You're going to get yourself a straw. We have nice paper straws. Stick it in the top and make sure it's all sealed up with some clay. Now, I would recommend doing this outside or in a sink because what you're going to do is lean down, blow into the straw, make sure it gets nice and full with air, and then you're going to back up quickly because water is going to come out of the top. And we'll talk about why that happens after you see it. So let's talk about how that works. So the first thing you need to know is that when you have a bottle, even if it looks empty, it's actually filled with air because air takes up space just like water does in a slightly different way. Now when we blow into the straw, we're adding more air into the bottle. Now there's only room for a certain amount of air and a certain amount of water, so when we add more air, we have to get rid of some of the water. Since the other end of the hole is in the water, it comes out through the top when we add air because it pushes down on the water and the water has to be released somewhere else. And that's how this experiment works.
So let's wrap this up. What did we learn today, Rose? We learned that air has a weight just like us, and that air pressure is the weight of air molecules pushing down on us.
I learned that high pressure can create a vacuum and hold stuff in place.
We also learned that air is a fluid, just like anything else. If you want to add more air to a container, it'll force out the other fluid to make room.
We also learned that if the surrounding air pressure between 2 objects is stronger than the air pressure between those 2 objects, then that surrounding air pressure will push those 2 objects together.
Thanks for joining us today for this presentation. We hope it inspires you to learn more about science.
And remember, as long as you have somebody to help you,
Learning something new should be no pressure.